once we're talking and we're pulling me in the meeting and I'm grabbing who I can grab and just, I'm looking at people the same way he's looking for the growth, and I'm saying who are our strongest links in this, who can connect, because regardless of whatever, anything I attach to, I expect it to increase. I don't expect God to do nothing less but increase it. So with that being said, we made it this far, and I am now the community relations person with Keith. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Sometimes you just get this moment of inspiration, and I thought, instead of listening to me talk more, let's have Crystal do the meeting. And I think you're it, man. This is, you did a great job. So let's everybody give Crystal a hand. First of many, many meetings that she's going to be doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Keith Zemler. Thanks again for coming. For most of you that I've met before, you've been hanging in there, right? This is a year now since I was looking back at our first meeting. It was about this time, about a year ago. And for those of you who are new, just a little history. This group has been meeting again, like I said, for a year. And when I got back from India, because I've been working in India for 3 years, helping and refining this platform that was born in Detroit, originally born in Detroit. But when we kind of created this new platform, we had a lot of loose ends and a lot of concepts, and it was really, really important for me to make sure that whatever we unveiled to the world was something that we knew people at the grassroots, people in their communities would actually really like. Not just like, but just love and get excited about what's ready to roll. It's an online version, really, of what just happened in this room. Because, that's really the idea behind PeopleMovers as a community network, is to just help people make connections and to connect to each other. Because Shana, as you mentioned, and so many of you mentioned, it really is about building relationships between people, between all of these different leaders at all the different levels, from all the different sectors of a community. But as you all know, what we've not been doing very well is we have not been including the surrounding neighborhoods. We looked at this even years ago and said, where is the platform, where is the network where leaders and organizations and citizens can communicate and work together on issues that concern us all? Things like race relations and crime and supporting our local businesses, improving health, in our communities and in our people, just knowing community events, environmental issues. As a matter of fact, I think it was kind of fortuitous, but one of Abby's friends, Jennifer, stopped by, and actually I had seen, where's the card? Right here. Information like this, Detroit People's Climate March, right? Environmental issues, educating, schools, improving our schools. What to do in an emergency. Just a month ago, we had, 1 million people without power. We were out for 5 days, in the cold. It was, that's serious stuff. And I found myself going through all of this. I get a little bit of information here and a little bit there, but there was no real one place that I could go to get all of the information with feeds. But yet there are meetings going on all day long across the city at every level of organizations and businesses and governmental entities that are working on these issues. And the challenge that they have about how do we get communities connected, now that's become an even bigger issue in the last year and a half. Of course, with Black Lives Matter and realizing that police departments continue to be out of touch with their communities. And so that became top of mind last year. And now since the election, there's a new divide that we're learning about that I never even thought of. And that is red America and blue America and cities versus rural America.
Wow.
And we need a better way to get all of these different entities that are involved, from citizens to the nonprofits, to the churches, to the governments, the schools, all these different entities, the business community. You talked about, Shana, about how the companies will tend to come in and they're not really doing things in a way that is working with the community. I work with a lot, and one of the things that I've learned is they don't know how to connect to each other, first off. They're not so bad about that because they have these associations and they have their mixers and meetings. Where they don't do a good job is connecting down to the smaller organizations, especially when you get down to the grassroots levels. And that is where we have seen a big need.
So, real quick, someone who just was the most excited and has never been to a meeting ever, I think she probably gave me an extra boost. Like, yes, between her and Abby, they're going to really be the arms next to me, and I want her to introduce herself because I love where her passion is definitely at, and I've known this young lady for 3 years. It's been 3. It's been 3 plus.
Whoa.
Has it been 3? It's been about 3. And I met her through Abby, so please introduce yourself.
So I'm gonna stand up because this is what I do.
This is what she do.
And I felt like I was in a corner, so I want everybody to really, So my name is Shana Asby. I was invited by Crystal Robinson, and again, I met her through Abby. I've been a community activist since 2012. I left the city in order to find out how precious the city was. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Fort Worth, DC, and I also live in Atlanta, Georgia. While I was there, I learned so many things that was going on within our communities, as well as coming back to Detroit to see what was going on and being taken over, how the city was being taken over here. And it started with education. Right now I've been working with an organization called Parent Education Advocates. So what we're trying to do is educate people on opting their children out of standardized tests, because what we have realized is that all of our children are unique and special and great within their own way. And what we're doing is we're actually pushing our kids to they feel like they're inadequate. So we educate on that, as well as I've been working with so many community organizations. One of my friends, classmates, he's running for governor. I'm working with his campaign, as well as I have a young lady who's actually creating a Black History book for elementary school, middle school, and high school. So it was just crazy when Crystal kind of contacted me, because I was already putting together a website in order for small businesses and small nonprofits, to get more, recognition. Because we have so many corporations and so many big businesses that are actually not working for us, they're actually working against us. I'm a researcher. When I tell you I'm a researcher, I research everything. There's not nothing that I probably don't look up. And at that time when I was creating the website to get more exposure to these different organizations, these different companies, and these different outlets, when she called me about PeopleMovers, I was like, yes! This is a great way, not just on a local level, on a global level. Because what I've realized is when you move to different states, they don't want to tell you what's going on in those states. They didn't want anyone to connect to Detroit so we can all work together. I had a community meeting one time, and one of our representatives came to the community meeting, and she was like, well, what can we do? I said, what you can do is, you can actually go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and see what they have done wrong, so we'll know what not to do. And I believe that that's a part of what our downfall is that we're not connecting. Another thing that I told somebody else the other day was, I said, what we're missing? And she was like, well, what is it? I was like, look. I said, that is the key. And what is happening and what I see is a lot of darkness amongst people, and they're missing that connection. So when I miss that connection of what love is, when I deal with somebody, I don't even think about myself as you or you as me. But if we have that connection and understand wholeheartedly what love is and bring that back, then we'll be more concerned about what's going on globally. It's not just here in Detroit, it's not just Atlanta, it's not just Texas. This is India, this is Africa, this is Paris, this is everything. And I'm just grateful. You know how you get to a point where you just like, I'm grateful for who I am. I may not make a lot of money. I may not have had the best of jobs, but I've been there to actually see what was going on, educate other people, and get that information out there. And I just want to make that connection globally because we're all suffering. We all suffering. And I just feel like, I feel like the young lady back there, it's time for us to be a unit. And you know, I'm tired of the black and white, the purple and green, all this other stuff. It just makes nothing. It's humanity.
That's right.
And so that's where I'm at right now. It's just, we just need to work together because right now our youth is at stake.
Yes.
Ourselves, but it's everybody working together as a unit.
Right.
You know, and it goes back to that unity. You know, sometimes I feel like the internet is a tool, but at the same time I feel like it hurts us because we don't know how to pick up the phone and call that next person, or we don't know how to go check on that person, you know, through their home. But we can also, I told somebody else, I said the best way to get back at these people that put these things on us, like corporations and businesses, is to use their tools against them. So
When you start learning on a global perspective, how does this stuff happen? It's because people are not learning from other parts of the world, and we can start doing that, right? So that's the beauty of the tool. At the end of the day, let's use the tool to spend more time and have more chicken with each other. We are ready to start asking people. They can sign up, they can join. We have more bells and whistles, more apps coming. Did I say People Points and People Ops and People Prep and People Powers and People Link, but we're ready to start with step one. And in order to do that, we need to work together. Then they'll be like, oh, we're already seeing it. And then when they come in, so let's talk about like the Downtown Detroit Partnership or the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. 10,000 members there. And then when they start, then they go, this is really awesome, we see how this is working, we're gonna roll this out to all of our members, finally. Because when we do a presentation and they see the platform, they don't have this platform. So we're already ahead of them in the community. And then when they start rolling this out, now all of a sudden, the people and organizations that we're connecting to and that we're at the same table with are going to bring real opportunities both ways. And then when there's new initiatives or existing initiatives we need to work on, it gets that much easier for all of us. And next time we need to go show up at the city council meeting, instead of 4 people coming, we have 400, right? And by the way, all of those city council members will already know what you're thinking before somebody walks into their room. And they'll know to say, this isn't going to go anywhere with our community because we actually already know each other. And we're already hearing and we're already engaging. And it's not just a once a year type of thing, right?
Another great aspect that I thought that was great about the site was that you're able to create blogs and link those blogs and the information that you have to the website, to these organizations.